Behind the glamorous facade of rock royalty lies a story of near-death overdoses, surprise teenage adoptions, and business empires built from beach house dreams. While Jon Bon Jovi conquered the world stages, his 4 children navigated their own dramatic journeys, from heroin-fueled college nightmares to becoming grandparents at 23. Here's what really happened to Jon Bon Jovi's children. Stephanie Rose Bon Jovi. Stephanie Rose Bon Jovi, Jon Bon Jovi's eldest child and only daughter, faced a life-threatening crisis that would forever change her family's perspective on fame and fortune. Born on May 31, 1993, Stephanie grew up as the first baby in the band, traveling with her parents on tour when she was just 3 weeks old and already had a passport. The trajectory of her young adult life took a devastating turn during her freshman year at Hamilton College in upstate New York. In the early morning hours of November 14, 2012, Campus Emergency Services received a call about an unresponsive female student in Dunham Residence Hall. When paramedics arrived at 19-year-old Stephanie's dorm room, they found her unconscious from what appeared to be a heroin overdose. The scene that greeted first responders was every parent's nightmare. Police discovered heroin, marijuana, and drug paraphernalia in her room, leading to her arrest on multiple drug possession charges along with fellow student Ian Grant, who had been present during the incident. The charges included criminal possession of a controlled substance, criminal possession of marijuana, and criminally using drug paraphernalia, all classified as Class A misdemeanors. For Jon Bon Jovi, the phone call from the hospital marked what he would later describe as his darkest hour as a father. When Stephanie regained consciousness, her first act was to call her dad to let him know she was alive. The rock star, who had built his career on lyrics about living on a prayer and wanted dead or alive, suddenly found himself praying for his daughter's survival in the most literal sense possible. The incident sent shockwaves through both the Hamilton College community and the national media, with the college issuing statements about how the behavior violated both state law and institutional policy. However, due to New York State's Good Samaritan law, which protects overdose victims and those who seek help for them from prosecution, all charges against Stephanie were ultimately dropped the following day. Jon Bon Jovi remained largely silent during the immediate aftermath, but when he did speak publicly about the experience, his words revealed the profound impact it had on him. He described being awakened in the middle of the night by his daughter calling from the hospital, telling him she was okay but had overdosed on heroin. The experience shattered any illusions about his family being immune to the struggles that affect countless American families dealing with addiction. Following her recovery, Stephanie transferred from Hamilton College to the New School in Manhattan, where she earned a degree in liberal arts in May 2017. She deliberately chose to rebuild her life away from the spotlight, working various internships, including positions at The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, Vice Media, and The Weinstein Company. Today, Stephanie has carved out a successful career in television production, working as a camera operator and production assistant on shows including Impractical Jokers. Her decision to work behind the cameras, rather than in front of them, reflects her desire to build something meaningful on her own terms. She has maintained her sobriety and rebuilt the close relationship with her father that was evident when she joined him on stage in Las Vegas in 2017 for a performance of the song he wrote for her called "I've Got the Girl." Currently engaged to be married, Stephanie has inspired her father to write another song in her honor called "Kiss the Bride," though Jon admits he may struggle to perform it at her wedding without becoming overwhelmed with emotion. Her journey from near-death to recovery represents one of the most dramatic redemption stories among celebrity children, proving that even rock royalty is not immune to life's most serious challenges. Jesse Bon Jovi. Jesse Bon Jovi transformed a throwaway comment made during a summer party into one of the most successful wine businesses in America, proving that sometimes the best ideas come from the most unexpected moments. Born on February 19, 1995, Jesse was the second child of John Bon Jovi and Dorothea Hurley, growing up in the shadow of his father's massive rock career while developing his own fierce competitive spirit. Unlike many celebrity children who coast on their family name, Jesse chose the grueling path of collegiate athletics, becoming a walk-on football player for the University of Notre Dame Fighting Irish. The transition from high school sports to Division I football was brutal, with daily practices starting at 5:30 in the morning and what he called a rude awakening to the intensity of college-level competition. As a defensive back and outside linebacker, Jesse learned lessons about persistence and hard work that would prove invaluable in his business ventures. During his senior year at Notre Dame, while studying political science with a minor in business economics, Jesse was spending time at his family's home in the Hamptons with his college roommate Ali Thomas. The group was enjoying copious amounts of rosé wine on the beach when John Bon Jovi excused himself to get another glass of what he dismissively called pink juice. Jesse casually corrected his father, saying, "No, Dad, it's Hamptons water." And in that moment, a brand was born that would eventually generate millions in revenue. What started as a joke among friends became a serious business proposition when Jesse recognized an opportunity in the crowded wine market. French rosé wines were perceived as pretentious and didn't capture the fun, relaxed atmosphere of the Hamptons lifestyle that Jesse knew and loved. He spent his final semester at Notre Dame researching the wine industry and developing a business plan with Ali, ultimately approaching his father not for a handout, but for seed money to launch a legitimate company. The most remarkable aspect of Jesse's business journey was his insistence on doing everything the right way, despite having access to his father's fortune and connections. When John Bon Jovi agreed to become a partner in Hampton Water, Jesse recruited legendary French winemaker Gerard Bertrand, a former rugby star who owned 16 estates in the south of France. Their initial meeting was scheduled for 1 hour, but lasted 4 hours, with Bertrand impressed by their passion and willingness to work hard rather than rely on celebrity status. The creation process involved multiple trips to France, where Jesse and Ali spent 5 days in Bertrand's vineyard conducting daily blending sessions with 20 different varietals. They eventually settled on a blend of Grenache, Cinsault, and Mourvedre grapes that produced a dry, smooth rosé, perfect for all-day drinking. To launch the brand in 2018, they rented the former Versace mansion in Miami during the South Beach Food and Wine Show, where John Bon Jovi performed to help generate buzz. The success that followed exceeded everyone's expectations. Hampton Water received a 90-point rating from Wine Spectator, one of the few rosé wines to achieve such recognition, and was named the top-ranked rosé in the world on Wine Spectator's Top 100 list in 2018. The brand sold 32,000 cases in its first year and experienced nearly 130% growth in sales by 2020. Jesse's personal life mirrors his professional success, built on genuine relationships rather than celebrity connections. He met Jesse Light, an executive producer on reality television shows, at the Surf Lodge in Montauk in 2018. After 4 years of dating, he proposed to her in East Hampton in August 2022, sharing the romantic moment on Instagram with the caption, "Time to be real." On May 7, 2024, Jesse married Jesse Light at the Graceland Wedding Chapel in Las Vegas, the exact same venue where his parents John Bon Jovi and Dorothea Hurley had eloped 35 years earlier in 1989. The decision to marry at the same chapel represented Jesse's deep respect for his parents' enduring relationship and his desire to honor their legacy while building his own family traditions. Jake Bon Jovi. Jake Bon Jovi made a series of bold life decisions that defied conventional expectations for celebrity children, choosing love and artistic passion over traditional academic achievement in ways that surprised even his rock star father. Born Jacob Hurley Bon Jovi on May 7, 2002, in Palm Beach, Florida. Jake grew up as the third child in a family that valued both creativity and education, attending prestigious schools, including Poly Prep Country Day School in Brooklyn and the Pennington School in New Jersey. The first major shock came when Jake made the decision to leave Syracuse University after completing just his freshman year, abandoning his college education to pursue acting full-time. His father, Jon Bon Jovi, had proudly announced Jake's acceptance to Syracuse in 2020, posting celebratory photos on Instagram and expressing excitement about his son's academic future. However, Jake's passion for performance and his desire to establish himself in the entertainment industry on his own terms led him to make the risky choice of dropping out before earning his degree. This decision proved prescient when Jake quickly secured representation with two powerhouse agencies, signing with William Morris Endeavor for acting and IMG Models for his modeling career. His professional debut came in the romantic comedy Sweethearts, directed by Jordan Weiss, where he played the character Kellen alongside established actors like Kiernan Shipka. He followed this with a role in the musical film Rock Bottom, where he portrayed Justin, a potential lead singer of a fictional 1980s hair metal band struggling with stage fright. Jake's personal life became the subject of intense public fascination when he began dating British actress Millie Bobby Brown, known worldwide for her role as Eleven in the Netflix series Stranger Things. The couple first connected on Instagram in 2021, and their relationship quickly became serious despite their young ages. Their romance drew comparisons to his parents' love story, with Jon Bon Jovi noting that it was an accelerated version of what I went through 40 years ago with his high school sweetheart, Dorothea. The couple's engagement announcement in April 2023 went viral, partly due to controversy over their ages at the time, with Jake being 20 and Millie being 19. The proposal itself was unique and memorable, taking place underwater, which added an element of adventure and romance that captured public attention. Their relationship faced scrutiny from media and fans who questioned whether they were too young for such a serious commitment. In May 2024, Jake and Millie married in an intimate private ceremony attended only by their closest family members. The wedding was so secretive that many fans didn't learn about it until weeks later. They later held a larger celebration in Tuscany, Italy, in October 2024, where Millie's Stranger Things co-star Matthew Modine officiated the ceremony beneath an arch of white flowers. The most surprising development came in August 2025, when the young couple announced they had adopted a baby girl during the summer. This decision made Jake a father at 23 and transformed Jon Bon Jovi into a grandfather while his youngest son Romeo was still in high school. The adoption announcement stunned both fans and media, as it's unusual for such young couples to adopt children, especially when they could easily afford biological children through any means they chose. Jake's career has continued to evolve beyond acting, with him taking on producer roles for upcoming projects, including Enola Holmes 3 and a time-travel romantic comedy called Just Picture It, starring his wife. He also wrote, directed, and produced a short film called Action Juice in 2025, showing his ambition to work behind the camera as well as in front of it. The couple currently lives on a farm in Georgia with an abundance of animals, including 10 dogs, 4 cats, 25 farm animals, and 23 rescue dogs in a sanctuary that Millie built on their property. Romeo Jon Bon Jovi achieved something nearly impossible in the modern celebrity world by completely disappearing from public view, despite being born into one of music's most famous families. Born on March 29, 2004, Romeo became the youngest of Jon Bon Jovi and Dorothea Hurley's 4 children, arriving more than a decade after his eldest sister and growing up in an entirely different era of his father's career, when the family had learned to navigate fame more carefully. From the moment of his birth, Romeo's parents made a conscious decision to shield him from the intense media scrutiny that had followed their older children. Unlike his siblings, who had grown up during the height of Bon Jovi's touring years in the 1990s and early 2000s, Romeo entered a world where his parents had already established clear boundaries between their public and private lives. This protective approach meant that while his older siblings occasionally appeared at red carpet events or in family photos, Romeo's appearances became increasingly rare as he grew older. The most striking aspect of Romeo's life is his complete absence from social media platforms, a choice that sets him apart from virtually every other celebrity child of his generation. While his siblings maintain Instagram accounts and share glimpses of their lives, Romeo has no known presence on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, or any other platform. This digital invisibility is particularly remarkable considering he came of age during the height of social media culture, when most teenagers document every aspect of their lives online. Romeo attended high school in Manhattan, where he managed to maintain his privacy despite attending school in one of the world's most media-saturated cities. His parents' strategy of giving their children normal upbringings proved most successful with Romeo, who appears to have experienced a traditional teenage life without the complications that often accompany celebrity status. The family's approach included never pointing at the television and saying, "There's Daddy," and avoiding dragging the children to industry events unless they specifically wanted to attend. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Romeo found himself quarantined at the family's Red Bank, New Jersey home with all of his siblings for the first time in years. This period gave his parents a preview of what empty nest life might feel like, and they admitted to People magazine in October 2020 that they were definitely looking forward to Romeo's graduation so they could finally experience life without children at home. His mother, Dorothea Hurley, expressed particular excitement about this milestone, joking that she might finally get out of high school herself. After attending countless school events and managing schedules for 4 children over more than 2 decades, she looked forward to not being stuck to a schedule and having the opportunity to travel freely with her husband, though she emphasized that they would still want to see their children regularly. Romeo's extreme privacy becomes even more notable when compared to the highly publicized lives of his siblings, particularly as his brother Jake married a global superstar and became a father, while his other brother Jesse built a wine empire. The fact that Romeo has successfully avoided any scandals, controversies, or even basic biographical information becoming public represents a masterclass in maintaining privacy in the digital age. At 21 years old, Romeo remains enrolled in college, though the specific institution and his field of study have been kept completely confidential. His parents' long-awaited empty nest phase finally began when Romeo graduated from high school and moved out to attend college, marking the end of an era for John Bon Jovi and Dorothea Hurley after raising 4 children across 3 decades.